Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone who's joined in. Lovely to see you all on this beautiful Saturday. Thank you so much for making time and joining us for this power-packed alumni panel that we have with us today. I can see quite a few of you who are trickling in. For all those of you who have just joined in, very quickly in the chat window, if you could let me know which city are you dialing in from. So I see we're close to 150 of you who have already joined in. Everyone, if you could let us know. And the answers are trickling in. We have Priyanka from Mumbai, Kanga from Hyderabad, people from Bangalore, someone even from Tashkent. Oh, wow, thank you. A lot of people from Mumbai there that I see. Anyone from outside of India, anyone from Singapore or any of the Southeast Asian countries who are joining us. Uh, Welcome once again, all of you, to this lovely, amazing panel that we have in place for you today. We have people from Vellore, Mumbai, quite a few of you from Mumbai. I see we have someone from Delhi who's joined in, Pune. Wow. So I'm assuming students from the length and breadth of India who are joining us here today. Thank you so much for making time for us on Saturday. Like I mentioned, we have a very, very, very interesting topic for you today. We are going to be talking about Indian students' careers progression post masters in Singapore, which is brought to you by the Nanyang Business School. And yes, we are joined by some special alumni who've done some of their various specialized masters programs. You will get to know about how exactly did these programs benefit them, what were the career paths it opened up, life in Singapore, and a lot more. Plus, we also have Regine, who's going to be talking to us about the various programs, the admission criteria, funding, scholarships, and of course, career opportunities in Singapore. So before we sort of dive into the session, I'm just going to do a quick round of introductions about who's on the panel. Of course, at a later stage, they will be doing a round of introduction themselves and letting you know more about them. Starting with myself, my name is Sabahat Farzuk. I am the Associate Director at Seed Global Education. We are a UK headquartered company which facilitates interactions between top global universities like the one that we have with us here today and prospective students like yourself, giving you a chance to connect with alumni, with faculty, getting you a chance to know about the programs being offered so that you can make informed choices about your higher education. Joining me on the panel today, we have Regine Wong, the Assistant Director for Outreach and Admissions at Nanyang Business School. She is your go-to person if you're looking to study at Nanyang and in Singapore, and she will be sharing more insights. From the alumni, we have Gaurav, who has done his Masters of Science in Financial Engineering and is currently working as a Senior Manager at the Institutional Equity Division at Morgan Stanley. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for making time and joining us today. We also have Prashanti, who's a business analytics graduate from NBS and is currently working as a data trust service associate at PwC in Singapore itself. Thank you so much, Prashanti, for joining us. And of course, last but definitely not the least, we have Devash, who holds a master's degree in marketing from NBS and is currently working as a senior executive performance programmatic at Group M Nexus. So thank you to Regine and all of our panelists who are here today. I'm sure the whole lot of you want to know a little bit more about their program. So without further ado, I am now going to hand over to Regine. Regine, if you could take us through your presentation and let us know a lot more about what NBS has to offer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the very, very nice introduction. I hope everybody can see the screen right now. Thank you again. I'm Regine from the Nanyang Business School Graduate Studies Office. So I know the star today is actually an alumni. So I'll just keep my sharing very brief. Just to give you an overview of the specialized masters that we offer at the Nanyang Business School. And if you have any question, feel free to type in the chat or the Q&A, and we can answer them at the end of the session. So just a very quick run through before we hand over the spotlight to our alumni. Okay. Okay, so I guess many of you would know that Nanyang Technological University, we're a Singapore university. So a lot of you may be thinking about what is next in your postgraduate studies. Where should you study? Which university should you choose? There's a lot of questions, and so I just hope to share a little bit about Singapore. If you have not been to Singapore, we are a very global, cosmopolitan city. It's a very tiny city-state, I would say. And I think one great thing about Singapore is the location of Singapore. We're truly at the heart of Asia. And of course, Asia, as you all know, is the fastest growing economic region in the world. And definitely, studying in Singapore, it gives you the opportunity to immerse yourselves into a place that's not just great for education, but it's also a global business hub. So Singapore is a global business hub. We have one of the largest, financial hub. We're the aviation hub. We're the business hub. So definitely, we see a lot of MNCs having their headquarters or regional headquarters in Singapore. And what they need most is, of course, a pool of workers, talented workforce to help to propel their organizations to grow in the region and globally. So definitely, graduates from NTU, from Singapore, do have the opportunity to find job opportunities in Singapore. But of course, we do have many students who found jobs outside of Singapore as well. And Singapore is a very unique, dynamic, multiracial and multicultural country. I think in Asia, we are easily one of the most culturally diverse country. So there's a mixtures of different culture, of people from different races living in Singapore. So it's very, very interesting. And I think that really helps to build the cultural awareness that we have that is needed in today's, increasingly connected world where, our colleagues are from different parts of the world or our clients are from all over the world as well. So having this cultural awareness is very important as we work with different people in different places. Okay, so a little bit about NTU Singapore. So if you do not really know much about NTU, we are one of the largest public university in Singapore. We are currently ranked top 15 in the world in the latest QS World University. And I think this slide says it all. These are the accolades that NTU has earned. We're actually one of the young university, and which means if you are one of the young university, you have to be less than 50 years old. So you can see that we are the world #1 young university, ranked 15 in the world. And I think for such a young university, we have remarkable achievement. We're only like 32, 33 years old. So I think in these 30 over years, we have done remarkably well for a business school and as a university as well. So, hey, so a little bit about Nanyang Business School and what it means to study in Nanyang Business School and why you should definitely consider MBS as one of your consideration if you're thinking about doing a business master's. So we are one of Asia's leading business school. We are very renowned for our being research-oriented and interdisciplinary and industry relevant education. And I think one of the strength that we have at the business school in a leading technological university is that the business school, we are able to access to research at the NTU level, where we are very well known for innovation and tech-driven researchers in AI, machine learning, etc. And how it translates into the business environment, how it translates into business impact. I think this is something that Nanyang Business School has something very unique to offer. You will see that in many of our programs, there is a tech kind of like a focus in terms of curriculum design, and that is intentional because that's something that unique the Nanyang Business School can offer through the NTU. So today, we have 4 master's programs that we offered here: the Masters of Science in Accountancy, in Business Analytics, Financial Engineering, and Marketing Science. You see the alumni here today. They are from all the programs except for Masters of Science in Accountancy, and be sure to hear from them what they have to share. So I just briefly bring you through what is really unique about our programs is that we offer interdisciplinary program. Like I mentioned, we're able to draw on the NTU strengths in the STEM area, which means that in many of the courses, curriculum that is designed, for example, in marketing science, for example, we learn about neuroscience marketing, about neuromarketing, which is a courses that's very unique to us that you don't find in many traditional master's program in marketing. In terms of our duration, all our programs are 1 year full-time, which means that you kind of like very focused in that 1 year, but we also have the flexibility to extend the program to a 1.5 years program through an internship module. So it's up to you to graduate in 1 year or extend to 1.5 years. And in terms of the course design, it's a lot of hands-on learning because we prepare our students for the workplace. So there's a lot of assignment, there's a lot of industry projects as well that our students get to work with real life organization. For example, in the business analytics program, we even have data analytics practicum, which is like internship that's built into the program for students to really have this real world learning experience. And of course, we have a dedicated careers office that's available for the master's student in the business school only. So they provide with career resources in terms of your internship needs, in terms of your post-program full-time opportunity. Yep. So again, these are some of the career resources that's available for our students through career coaching, workshop seminars, job portals, and etc. Okay, so very briefly, I'll just run through this 4 program very briefly. So Masters of Science in Accountancy is a 1-year full-time program. So we are actually Singapore's first and most established accountancy school. So we actually home to the Singapore first accountancy school. So definitely, the accountancy legacy is very strong in our program. So we have a specialization in data analytics because we know that there's a shift in terms of accounting. So students who are trained who wants to learn how to, use the analytics tools in the accounting context can actually join this program and opt for the specializations. For the business analytics program, like I mentioned, one of the highlight of our program is really this data analytics practicum, which is in the trimester 3. So students get to work with a real life organization in Singapore where they are going to be working on the data analytics project. So because this is a lot of hands-on learning that we want to make it very practical for our students to experience what is it like. So this is a very well-liked practicum in this program. And of course, like I mentioned, the marketing sciences is a very, very popular program in marketing science. Like I mentioned, we have a lot of cutting edge modules that you don't find in a lot of traditional marketing master's program, like marketing in the tech era, basically talking about, embracing, using AI, robotics, etc. in marketing. We learn about neuroscience, neuromarketing, etc. And there's a lot of companies, projects that our students can get to work with as well. And of course, and one of the most established program is this Masters of Science in Financial Engineering, which we have been running for more than 20 years. And in this program is very, very rigorous. And for this program, we really, really want people who are very, very strong in quants. And this includes for students who want to actually to have a 7-week exposure at the Carnegie Mellon University, you can actually opt for the CMU track. Otherwise, you can choose to complete everything in NTU. So this is a very exciting program that we offer at MBS. So like I mentioned, all our program starts in July, and by May the following year, you have finished all your coursework and you can choose to extend to 1.5 years through an internship module. So this is the program structure at a glance. And of course, these are our admissions requirements. So a minimum is a bachelor's degree, so no work experience is required. So for our program, a GMAT or GMAT focus or GRE score is only compulsory if you are applying for the business analytics or the financial engineering program. If your undergraduate degree is fully taught in English language, you don't have to submit a TOEFL or IELTS test score. So these are very basic admissions requirements. And these are just some of the areas that we look for academic profile. We also look at non-academic achievements that you have done outside of a classroom. We also look at what kind of internship that you have, or you have any work experience, how relevant is it to the major that you're applying to. Of course, we look at leadership qualities and leadership potential that you could demonstrate, and of course, what you're able to bring to the classroom in terms of contributing to the classroom discussions. Okay, so this is the part where we want to share a little bit more about the scholarships and grants that we offer. So I guess not many of you here are probably from the ASEAN countries. So, but if there's one or two, some of you who are from ASEAN nations, we do have an ASEAN Development Scholarship that covers 40% or a full tuition fee cover. But the merit scholarship is a partial scholarship that's open to all nationality. And of course, if you're a prior NTU alumni or you're a Singapore SPR grant, there are grants that we offer as well. Okay, so I just want to take this moment to share that on the 31st of August, we also have a postgraduate fair. They can attend online or in person in Singapore. So if you'd like to learn more about Nanyang Business School in terms of the school, in terms of what we offer, do join us as well. You can scan or take a picture here and, to register. So with this, I will just end my presentation, and I guess I'll let Shabahat to, start with the panel, and I guess we all want to hear from our alumni. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Regine, for that very detailed presentation. I'm sure we do have a few questions which have come in, but I would request the audience to keep posting their questions in the Q&A window. We will be taking them up shortly. Before I sort of jump into the alumni panel, we've heard about Singapore, we've heard about the programs, we've heard about what NBS has to offer. So I'm very quickly going to launch my first poll question for the day. Since we are talking about careers, I want the audience to quickly have a look at the screen and let me know which career field are you most interested in. Are you someone who's looking to study finance and, pursue a career in finance and accounting? Are you someone who's more inclined towards technology and innovation? Is business management and consulting something that you aspire to do? Are you someone who's looking to explore more into healthcare and biotechnology? Or are you someone who feels that, yes, I am someone who wants to be a budding entrepreneur or have my own setup? Or is it something else that you're looking for? So very quickly on the screen, I'm not going to keep the poll on for too long. If you could just cast a vote and let us know which career field are you most interested in. The options are available on your screen. We are more than 430 people in the audience today. Thank you so much, all of you, for making time and joining us on this lovely Saturday afternoon. Very quickly, I'm going to keep the poll running for a little bit more. If you could cast your vote and let us know which career field are you most interested in. So I'll let it run for another second or two before I sort of end the poll for today. Great. I'm going to be ending the poll shortly and sharing the results with everyone. As you can see on the screen, finance and accounting, quickly followed by technology and innovation. We have then followed by business management and consulting. Couple of folks in the audience who are looking at something else. We do have some budding entrepreneurs as well who are looking at entrepreneurship and startups as well. So thank you everyone for participating in the poll questions. Once again, welcome to all of our panelists. We have Gaurav, we have Prashanti, and we have Divesh. Divesh, before we get started, do you have something fun to share with all of us?
Hi. Nice to meet you, and nice to meet everyone. So I made a quick presentation, not a presentation, just a slide.
Sure.
So let me share it. Is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible. Yes.
So if my screen is visible, I'll go on.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Divesh. I did my master's from NTU in marketing science. I was a batch of 22-23. And then after graduating, I got this amazing opportunity to work with Group M Singapore as a senior associate performance marketing. So for the last 1 year, I've been working with Group M Singapore, and the journey through NTU Singapore and through working through Group M has been amazing. So I just curated few pictures over the past 1 year that I had with NTU. So these are few of the pictures. So on the top right, this photo is, I think, the essential photo that everyone has to take. This is the famous Hive building that everyone comes to NTU has to take this photo. So this was one of the most memorable and the most fanciest photo that I had. And I think everyone who visits Singapore must take this photo. Apart from that, the best part about our course is that we deal with real life industrial problems in our case studies, and we have to give presentations in almost all the subjects regarding real time projects. So the photo on the bottom right is one of the project which we did for a company called Revolut. It's a banking app, UK based banking app company, which is also expanding in Singapore. So it was like the highlight of my journey because we won that competition, and our recommendation was appreciated by the Revolut team. the CEO of Revolut came, who was responsible for expanding the business in Singapore. So it was one of the highlight moment for me. And apart from this, the photo on the top left is when we graduated last year. So we have two options in this course. Either we take 6 month internship or you get a full-time job. So I was one of the lucky one who got a job in Singapore after graduating. So I graduated last year, and like it was a very amazing moment for me because my journey with NTU Singapore somehow was successful, where I could back a very wonderful job in Singapore. And on the bottom left, this is Universal Studio. This was like the fun part which we had with our team. So in the start of the course, I made a team, and I think I found some amazing people. Until the end of the course, stick with my team. So you can see both the photos in the bottom. They are the same teammates. So we enjoyed with them. We went on trips. We worked hard with together, and then I think the entire journey sum ups in these four photos, from where we enjoyed, where we progressed, and how I finally graduated. So I think that sums up my entire journey quite like in a perfect way.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Devansh, for sharing the pictures. It's wonderful, I'm sure, not just for me, but for everyone in the audience to see your journey and know a little bit more about NBS and the experience that they can expect if they were to go to Singapore. I would request you to stop sharing your screen if possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. Thank you. I'd now like to give an opportunity to our other panelists as well to introduce themselves. Gaurav, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sabahat. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in. I'm Gaurav Singh, and I did my MSc in Financial Engineering in 2018-19 batch. And since then, I've relocated to Mumbai, and I'm working in Morgan Stanley in the derivatives division here. With regard to NTU, the time spent there in my master's course, one of the biggest regrets I had was why I did come for undergrad course in NTU as well, because the campus is amazing. The people in Singapore are amazing, and it's like the place to be, as Regine also mentioned earlier. It's the heart of Asia, right? So it's the melting pot where everything that's good in Asia comes together. And in terms of technical proficiency, or in terms of what you learn in Singapore, or rather NTU, it's cutting edge. So you don't need to worry about if you're learning the right thing or not, because most of the courses, not just financial engineering, which I was a part of, but other than that, even the MBA or accountancy and other courses, we had cohort living together in the hostels with us. So every one of them mentions that it's a very industry relevant course, which means that they're not afraid to change the curriculum and align themselves with the industry. So that's the good part about NTU, and it's amazing. I mean, it's the launch pad which you need to propel yourself into the next cycle of your career growth.
Thank you.
With that note, I'll stop. Thank you. Over to you, Sabahat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gaurav. I would now like to invite Prashanti if she could also quickly give us an introduction about herself. Let us know a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you, Sabah. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, just a little background about me. I completed my schooling in Singapore, and I did my undergraduate degree in economics, actually, from Christ University in Bangalore. So it was there when I took up subjects like econometrics, where I developed a keen interest in analytics and modeling. So post that, I decided to go for my master's in business analytics specifically. And since I'd already done my schooling in Singapore and I was very familiar with NTU as well, I just knew that I had to, try out the master's program at NTU. So I did my master's in business analytics from NTU from 2022 to 2023. And I was very lucky in the sense that within the first 2 to 3 months of me joining the program, I ended up getting my full-time offer. So I am currently at PwC. I work with a digital solutions team, specifically focused on data governance, and data management. So it's been about a year or so since I joined this position. So it's been quite an interesting ride, quite ever-changing, I would say. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prashanti. I'm going to quickly start now with the Q&A. I'm going to ask you guys a few questions, and then we are going to sort of take it from there. I'm just going to add a pin to everyone so, we are all here and everyone can see us. Great, great. So once again, thank you so much, panelists, alumni, for being here today. And yes, we are going to be, like I said, we are going to be starting with a few questions. So Gaurav, I would like to start with you. I believe you did your BTech in mechanical engineering from the National Institute of Technology, NIT in Durgapur, post which you went on to study at NTU. What I want to know is, how did your master's degree in financial engineering from NTU contribute to your career growth and your current role at Morgan Stanley?
Sure. So, coming from a mechanical engineering background and having worked in the industry as such, I was an outsider to the finance industry, right? But stock market is something which affects almost every one of us in some way or the other. And it was an interesting field, and I think most of the students who get into financial engineering, they are a bit influenced by the movie Wolf of Wall Street, and they think that is how investment banking is.
Correct.
I mean, definitely that is one of the things which you can experience. But apart from that, it's a very lucrative field for people who are heavily invested or interested rather in mathematics, finance, and computing. So MFE is the amalgamation of all these three, wherein you need to be decently good in each of these three verticals. Now, having engineering background, I was having a good grasp in mathematics and coding, but finance was not so strong. I mean, I never had a formal finance education. So instead of going for MSc Finance, I found that this course was more relevant because of the curriculum designed, and as well as it gave me more access to technical topics like stochastic calculus and other derivative knowledge and other courses. That was the very key decision making aspect for me, why I chose MFE, and that too at NTU. When I did this selection, I had a host of different colleges on my selection plate, and I went through all the curriculum there as well. And out of all that, I always recommend NTU. Like even after passing out of NTU MFE, at times I just go and see if they have changed their curriculum or not, and what's the new addition they have given. So it's a very well-designed course. It's a very modern course, I would say. And the CMU exchange program, that was also very key aspect for me, because it gave me some insight into the computer science aspect of it as well. So I cannot pinpoint in which way it helped it, but the entire idea is that it molds a student in thinking along the right direction. So if you are doing software engineering from Carnegie Mellon, and if you're learning that core principles of object-oriented programming, right, somehow when you apply it in your job, it will impact you. It will impact your career. So learning the right things and learning it the right way from the best of the places. So that's the summation of it, basically.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gaurav. My next question, Prashanti, will be to you. So Gaurav and Devansh both came from an engineering background. You, on the other hand, are someone who came from a humanities background. You studied at Christ University, correct? Like you had a very different sort of a thing with a background in economics. What I want to know is, with your background in economics and your current master's in business analytics, how do you integrate economic theories with data analytics in your current role? Like, how do these two fields sort of merge together at the current role that you're doing at PwC?
That's a very interesting question. So, I would say that my job is definitely more on the tech side.
Okay.
So, day to day, what I do, governance, management, data quality. So, some of the tools that we use, some of the languages that we use for implementation, that's
Mhm.
where the business analytics comes in. So, these are basically foundations that I picked up from
Right.
my business analytics course. So, be it programming essentials like SQL, R, Python, or even data science concepts, engineering concepts. So these essentially serve as kind of a toolkit for
Mhm.
me to do my day-to-day responsibilities and kind of prepare the deliverables that I have to work on. So
Right.
that is the execution side of things. But when I work with clients, we have clients come from a lot of different backgrounds, finance, we have finance, banking, we have all of these backgrounds, all of these domains out there that we have clients in. And that's where I think the economics portion comes in, because when they come to us, having that background in economics really helps you to understand their requirements, their needs,
Mhm.
and really point out their kind of like their pain points or their challenges. So when you're, as a consultant, when you're developing solution, having that domain knowledge which complements like the technical expertise that I have. So I think
Right.
that's where both of these fields kind of come into play. Yeah.
Great. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Devansh, moving on to you. In the beginning, you showed us this wonderful presentation. You spoke about your time at in Singapore at NBS. So, what I want to know is, if you could elaborate and let us know, how has studying and living in Singapore sort of really enriched not just your academic but your professional experiences as well? You're on mute.
Sorry for that.
No
So
problem.
when I joined NTU, I think I was the lucky one because out of, let's say, 50 students in my batch, only around 7 or 8 students got hostel. So I was the lucky one who got the hostel. And I think that was, apart from learning all the knowledge from NBS, the second most highlight was for me was living in the hostel. So that was the best part. And I made one of the best friends in my life from my hostel
Wow.
life. So I met people from, let's say, a small country such as Bhutan, which is
Mhm.
our neighbor, Indian neighbor. But still, I did not know anything about it. But one of my best friend is now from Bhutan. Then I met people
Wow.
from Taiwan, from China, from Bangkok. So I think living in hostel was the best part. So I got to communicate and network with a lot of different types of people. I found people from my industry who are working in performance marketing from China. I met some very senior people also who came for EMBAs, their executive MBA. So they were like 10 years into the industry and they have come for their EMBA to NTU and they're living in the hostel. So you get to share get to learn from them, from their experiences. You get to share your experiences. So I think living in hostel was my highlight. And then after graduating, I lived in the central area. I still live in Chinatown, which is like the center area of Singapore. Everything is, my office is in Chinatown. So I'm near NBS area, the highlight of Singapore. So each day, I get to meet people from different backgrounds. And even my company, Group M Singapore, has like people from different backgrounds. My manager is an Italian. He's from Italy. And then I have people working from Japan, from most of the team is of course from Singapore, but then you meet other people. So I get to learn a lot from them. And I've been sharing my experience from India also. So I think, as also I mentioned earlier, Singapore being the melting pot of all the
Yeah.
cultures. So you get to learn a lot from the culture. So I think that has, being in India, I was not exposed that much to that diversity, but now I
Mhm.
think I have grown a lot by learning from the diversity in Singapore.
Thank you. So what I'm sort of hearing from all three of you, and we will be diving deeper into more questions, is of course Singapore being the hub, being the melting pot, different cultures, getting the right sort of education from NBS, which is always keeping up with the current trends in the industry, making sure that students are getting the right kind of information with the evolving trends, and of course, the programs, the exchange programs with Carnegie Mellon and other universities, which are keeping students on their toes and updated as to what's going on. So, with that, Regine, my next question would be to you. I know you spoke a little bit about this, but if you could shed some more light into how exactly does NBS support its international students in terms of career services and the professional development that they might be looking for post pursuing their masters at NBS?
Okay, definitely I can share that. So at Nanyang Business School, we actually have two careers office. One that's just for the undergraduate students, and one that is all for the master students. So in terms of master student, what I meant is all our MBA students as well as our specialized master student. So right from day one, I think orientation day, they will be meeting with the team, briefing with the team from careers office, understanding their needs. They have, employers coming to talk to our students. They have a lot of different workshops that's really all planned out in the 1 year, because the program is 1 year. So, so the preparation work to prepare our students, to meet with their potential employers starts from day one. And so it's very intense. So the different workshops are planned, like resume writing. So before we send, we have careers event, we have to make sure our students have like their resume ready. So the first thing is usually the resume. They have to be in certain format, and they have to be vetted through by our colleagues in the careers team. And then we also have career coaches, senior career fellows as well, that we try to, that matches our student with in terms of the kind of desired industry or functions that they like to be in. So we try to match them so they're able to go to these career coaches for industry advice and things like that. And of course, there's like career day, where we get many employers onto the campus to meet with our students. And they also get access to a career portal where my colleagues, they actually post like internship opportunities, full-time job opportunities, etc. So all these all our students have access to all these resources to help them in terms of like preparing them for working in Singapore or elsewhere. So my colleagues in the careers office, they have two teams as well. One team, they focuses on engagement with employers, so they know what jobs are coming up and internships coming up. And we have another team that focuses on working with our students to, to prepare them. Yes.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Regine. So while on one hand, the students are updated about the opportunities which are available for them, there is someone also helping them sort of understand what kind of career paths and development would be right for them. Great.
Yeah.
Gaurav, coming back to you, given your background, we spoke about this a little bit in the previous question that I asked, just sort of building on to that. How important do you think it is to have a background in finance or engineering for a career in financial engineering? And what are the skills or experiences do you think a student should sort of gain on the side to ensure that, they're well prepared when they enter the job market, looking at the kind of role that you are currently in?
Sure, thanks, Abhat. So, as I mentioned, coding or computer language proficiency, mathematics and finance are the three main things. But at least in my experience, I would say nobody is the best in the three. So it's like either you are good in one or at best two of them. And for the third one, you try to play catch up as you progress through the coursework. But having a background in finance or engineering is it's not mandatory, but it helps you because it helps you tick off either one or two of these skill sets. So if we talk less about the background, but more about what's expected of the student or what sort of skills they can acquire, I would say coding is the most essential skill. And it does not need to be in Python or C++. I mean, it's very job dependent or role dependent in terms of what exact language they are looking for. But as long as you are proficient in coding a single language, it's just a matter of syntax when you can pick up the other coding language. So you have to be good in at least one of it. And engineering background, or for that matter, mathematics or statistics or finance background or accountancy background, gives you a strength on the statistics side of things. So even if you don't have that background and you're coming from a non-science or non-math background, you might want to acquire some advanced statistics skills. Because in the coursework, they definitely have that. But it would really help if you have some background on your side before you come for the coursework. You can build upon that.
Okay.
And other languages or what to say, niche skill sets, you can definitely pick it along the way as you do your internship, or you do some sort of upskilling before getting a job. Those can be relatively acquired in a shorter period of time. But coding and maths is something which you need to spend a little bit of time before you get into the playground and start looking for a job.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Prashanti, moving on to you, you have done a lot of internships and other work before you sort of, even in India, and I believe even during your, while you were in Singapore. So, can you sort of describe your career journey from your internships to your current role, and how did each of these experiences sort of contribute towards your professional development?
Sure. So during my time in Christ, my focus was mainly on academia. So I was looking to actually go into public policy. So prior to I think 2021, most of my internships were centered around that. Was mostly academia, public policy, research related internships. So I would say that the soft skills you pick up during those internships is kind of transferable. So, how you communicate with your different stakeholders, with no matter the job, you will have clients or, some other stakeholder that you communicate with, how you kind of try to make yourself be seen, be visible, and what is the value addition that you can bring to each job. So focusing on those things, regardless of what internship you have, it is a transferable skill. So I think that's where I picked up those skills. Eventually, when I graduated and I sat down and thought about it and decided that I want to do the analytics track, and came into NTU, my first internship was with Mindshare. So Mindshare is it's basically a media agency. And what they are primarily responsible for is what I was primarily responsible for was to manage client budgets. So we look for ways on how they can optimize their allocation across different advertising channels based on target audiences and geographic locations. So these are just some examples, but of course there are many other factors that come into play. So during a time in Mindshare, I think that was my first proper offline internship, because I'm a COVID batch graduate. So most everything was online when I was graduating. So I think really managing clients, I think that's the first thing that I picked up, because you're facing all these different people, and most of the time they don't speak the same language that you do. So they don't know data analytics as well as you do. They don't have that knowledge. So how you work as sort of a medium, a platform between, these tools or this analytic methodologies, etc., and how you're able to explain that in layman terms while really understanding client needs, requirements, their pain points is a skill that you need to pick up. So in this case, you probably need, what I did was having a strong foundation in the analytics helps, but you can't go to the client and start just talking all about these things. They're not going to get you. So really letting them state their pain points and working backwards from those
Right.
things. So these are kind of skills, soft skills that help
Mhm.
you
Right.
when you progress through your career. And eventually at PwC, I think having the kind of the technical skills from NTU, and then also the understanding of client needs and client requirements, I think it is the amalgamation of both of these things that really help you become a good consultant. So I
Right.
think that is where I think it's kind of a niche where you're balancing both of these things,
Mhm.
but it really is like the blend of that technical proficiency with your soft skills is what helps to shape my current role, I would say.
Wow, very, very well put. Devansh, coming to you, how do you sort of stay updated with the latest trends and technologies in digital marketing and programming strategies? And what is your advice to other prospective students out there who are looking to pursue something similar to what you have done? How does one stay updated with all the new trends, with what's the buzzword in the market? How can they make sure that they're getting into the right sort of programs?
Oh, that's a very interesting question because digital marketing has always been a evolving industry,
Yeah.
because initially people were investing more money into the traditional marketing like banner
Mhm.
ads, newspaper ads, TVs and radios. But now when digital marketing has boomed up, everyone is now pushing most of their budget towards digital marketing. So
Right.
when I started my career, I was like very childish. I just wanted to get away from coding. I was never interested in coding. I was from an engineering background. So I saw this way to go into digital marketing where I already had my data analysis background from engineering, and I could leverage it and I could use in digital marketing and somehow be on the business side also with my technical skills. So that's how I got into digital marketing. And then after working for 2 years in India, I realized that I still lack the basic knowledge of marketing, like what is a marketing funnel, what are the basic branding strategies. And in India, I was mostly doing platform campaign implementations in Google ads, Facebook ads. So now I'm an expert of all the platforms, but then I realized I still need basic knowledge of all marketing. So then I came into NTU. I learned everything about marketing, and I think it's an amazing course where you learn from basics to most of the advanced things. Then coming back to your question, like even when we were in NTU, we were taught
Mhm.
a lot of new buzzwords, like what is digital marketing, what is media plans, what is programmatic marketing, where I am an expert. We were even, which is a very evolving industry. Programmatic marketing is very new, so we learned all of this. And apart from that, I think a lot of self-learning you have to do, because recently there is a boom of AI in every industry. And even in marketing, a lot of people are scared that AI might take their jobs. But that's not
Yeah.
how it is. If you are constantly upgrading your knowledge, then I don't think AI is just to like enhance your work to make it somewhat easier. But essentially, it's the human brain that will do most of the part. So, like, even in 1 year back when I was in marketing, we were taught that there is something called as third party cookies through which
Mhm.
we target audience online. Google was trying to remove them. So all the industries are coming up with new strategies. Most Even Google was trying their best because a lot of people were scared about their privacy online, that they are being tracked everywhere. So after like 2 3 years of development to do this, last week I read the news that Google is saying they are not removing their third party cookies because that is the major part of their business. So now all the knowledge that we gained how to deal that when the cookies are going away is all gone into vain, because now Google is not removing their third party cookies. So we are going back to the normal cycle. So you have to continuously read the news, you have to continuously read the new technology and keep yourself updated.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, panelists. So apart from working on your resume, working on making sure you have the right kind of grades, etc., what I'm hearing from the panel here is, like Gaurav mentioned, you should do some add-on courses which will sort of give you that leverage, which will sort of help boost your resume. As Prashanti mentioned, soft skills are also something which are very important because knowledge can only take you so far. Doing internships, giving yourself that exposure really helps you being prepared for the job. And as Devansh mentioned, keeping in touch with the trends, keeping in touch with the news, what's happening is something very important. Before I sort of open the floor to questions from the audience, we have quite a bit of them. to each of the panelists, Regine, starting with you, can you give us some application tips, especially for Indian students or international students who are looking to apply to NBS? Some quick tips which will really help them sort of crack the code into NBS.
Okay, so our application for next year intake will start on September 1st. So it's a rolling admission. So most of our application deadline are next year in February or March. But throughout this September to February, March is a rolling admission, which means that, when we receive an application, the admissions team will review, and if they find that your profile is suitable to the program that you're applying, you get invited to admissions interview. So I always encourage applicants who are really keen in our program to apply early, because in the beginning, there's less competition in that sense, so higher chance of being shortlisted in that sense. And of course, if you're looking for scholarship, earlier in the cycle, we would have our scholarship budget in full, right? So as we give out more offers, we will also give out some scholarship along the way. So definitely apply early. So you get admitted earlier, you also get higher chance of getting a scholarship. So that's my tip. And it's the most useful tip, I think.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Gaurav, can you speak a little bit about how can the students who are looking to apply or who are currently in the application process or who go to Singapore, how can they maximize their networking opportunities while studying at NBS, considering that you get to meet so many people from different walks of life?
Sure. So once you are in NTU, you will be sort of chased by the graduate studies career office, and it's chased in a good way, because since it is a very hectic program, you will be buried with your coursework, but GSCDO will be your friend. They will be constantly creating opportunities for you to network with other schools, different senior faculty who have speaker series, and they also have soft skill development. So it's a all-rounded program which is designed that even if you are introverted, you have the opportunity to break out of your shell and go to at least one career fair and talk to someone. And I have seen people getting jobs from there. So it's very intuitive in a way that you're already there. You just have to follow the program, right? So the program is built for you. You just have to follow the program. And when in college, yeah, definitely the hostel experience, as the other panelists also mentioned, it's nice, right? So they have graduate hostels, and then they have barbecue pits and everything. So in the weekend, you can just relax and have a quick connect with few of the other people from different industries, and you'll definitely gain more perspective. So it's the learning never stops. It's not just in the classroom, but in the hostels. Even if you're just walking around the campus, I'm like pretty sure you'll learn something new.
Thank you, Gaurav. Prashanti, this one is for you. What tips would you give international students looking to adjust to their new life in Singapore and make the most of their time there? Because that is a question which is on everyone's mind. Oh, I'm moving to a foreign country. How do I sort of adjust to the life there? So, any tips for students who are looking to fly overseas and start their career and their journeys fresh?
Yeah, I think first, right off the bat, Singapore, we are a very, very accessible country. So, in terms of transport, in terms of safety, in terms of all of these things, it's really accessible, it's really safe. So, maybe the first 2 weeks there could be some apprehension, but once you get used to it, the train systems here, the bus systems here, everything is quite straightforward. So moving around the place, everything is going to be very, very easy. I would definitely say my main tip is to leverage on your peers, because with your course, you're essentially going to gain access to a network of people who are navigating the same boat as you. So they are doing the same things, say similar career paths, and they're also going to seek internships and jobs, and will also have same interests and likes and dislikes. So really leverage on that and build relationships with these fellow students, because both on campus and off campus, I think they're going to be the most helpful group of people. So I think that would be my main tip. So I would say just go for it. Sometimes you don't need to think a lot. You just have to take the first step and, try to do things on your own. And that's honestly my best advice. Just stop thinking about it a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So Gaurav spoke a lot about how networking is your networking. Prashanti spoke about how students must just go for it, take that leap of faith, fly to Singapore, make the best of it while you're there. Devansh, this is my last question for you. What advice would you give prospective fellow students from India who are looking to study at NBS?
I think coming to NBS, I realized that even if you're coming from any background, let's say where we have in this panel someone coming from economics or me coming from engineering, the best part about courses in because when I was coming into Singapore, I was applying into multiple colleges, and for me the most difficult choice was between NUS and NTU. So then what I realized that NUS and mostly other colleges, they do a very specific, very niche courses, but in NTU you get to learn everything. So particularly talking about marketing, you learn from the basics to the most advanced topics. So I was basically dealing with digital marketing platforms, so I did not have the basic knowledge. But coming to NBS, I learned the basics of like strategic marketing, branding in marketing, and some of the very advanced topics like neuro marketing, which was quite new for me. And we can't say that neuromarketing is a very niche, because niche topic, and why are we being taught such a niche topic in this world? Because it was a very interesting topic, and from our batch, one of our students, they got an internship in Johnson and Johnson. They were doing neuromarketing stuff related to neuromarketing. So it's very relevant, all the courses that are being taught. So I think why you should choose NTU and why you should come to Singapore is, I think the coursework is a very important factor, at least for me, that made me decide that NTU, you will learn everything irrespective of which background you're coming from.
Thank you. Thank you so much, panelists. Thank you so much for answering our questions. Before I dive into the Q&A, now that we've heard from everyone on the panel, I am going to quickly launch our second and last poll question for today, which is on the screen in front of you. If everyone in the audience can have a look and let us know, what is your main motivation now that you've heard all of them talk about Singapore? What is your main motivation for studying in Singapore? Is it access to quality education and world-class institutions like the one that we have with us today? Is it because of the opportunities which are available for career advancement? Are you someone who's looking to explore and gain a lot of cultural experience and diversity? Is it networking and professional connections, potential for higher earnings, or something else? So very quickly, I'm going to be not keeping this poll on for very long. Everyone in the audience, if you could let us know, now that you've heard everyone talk, what is your main motivation for studying in Singapore? And the options are available on the screen in front of you. So I'm going to keep the poll on for a few more seconds before I end it. Great. A lot of you are casting your votes. For those of you who haven't, please go ahead and cast your vote. I am going to be keeping it on for another 2 seconds. Fantastic. With that, I'm going to end the poll question and share the results with everyone. As you can see, 34% are looking to go and study there because of access to quality education and world-class institutes, followed by the opportunities for career advancement and others. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in the polls. I'm now going to quickly jump into the Q&A. Regine, my first question from Kishnam is for you. Do you offer any GMAT or GRE waiver for people who are looking to apply to NBS?
Okay, so different program has a different admissions requirements. So for marketing science and accountancy, there's no GMAT GRE requirements. So don't have to submit if you don't have those test score. For financial engineering is a requirement because of how rigorous the program is, because you need to be very strong in quant background to be in the program, because like Gaurav has said, you're going to learn very technical courses like stochastic, linear algebra, calculus. So we kind of need that. So that's, yeah. And for business analytics, so business analytics is requirement, but we do have some waiver for some cases. For example, if a graduate from a Singapore Autonomous University, you waive off the GMAT and GRE requirement. And of course, we do consider, if you graduate from a leading university globally, consult with us and we can see whether you'll be waived with the GMAT or GRE. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Regine. My next question, if someone from the three panelists can take it up, can you all talk a little bit about the post-study work visa in Singapore and the opportunities which are available to students there once they finish their graduation in Singapore?
I think I can take that. So
Sure.
for my course, we had two options. Either you go for a 6-month internship where your visa is sponsored by the university. So then you graduate next year and then you have 6 months to at least convert the internship into a full-time job, or you find a new job where then the company will sponsor your visa. And then the second option is you directly get a full-time offer, which I got, and then you graduate that year only, and then the company sponsor your visa from there on. So initially, if you get a sponsorship from the company, you get a 2 years visa, and then it gets reactivated every 2 years, and then after 2 years you get a 3-year visa and so on. So that is how the visa process works. And apart from that, finding an opportunity, I think, is slightly difficult in Singapore as an international student. It might sometimes take you 3-4 months to find a job. But then also when you have that NTU tag in your resume, then it becomes slightly easier compared to other competition. Because in my company, when I was talking to the HR, they were particularly saying that if you have students coming from NTU and NUS, then they are most welcome. So having a brand name in your resume definitely helps you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Devansh. That does answer our question. Going back to you, Regine, we spoke about the GMAT and the GRE waivers. What is the ideal GRE or GMAT score that you are looking for students who are applying to NVS?
Okay, so again, different program has a different kind of average score. For example, in financial engineering, because most of the people who apply to a program are already very good in quant. So naturally, they score very high on the quant side. So we are looking at high average of above 700 in the cohort. Yeah, but of course, for business analytics, we don't have such quant requirements. So the what do you call that? The average in the cohort in the application will be about 690s. Kind of score. But of course, we don't just look at the score. So in addition to the score, it's just one aspect of what the admissions team look at. We also look at your academic background. We look at, if you have any internship, done, or you have any work experience. So this GMAT GRE is just one aspect of what we look at. So don't just focus on that, but we also look at the other parts as well. Yes.
Great. Great. So while you all are working on your GMAT and GRE, please make sure that you have a holistic, well-rounded profile which you can apply with.
Yes.
Great. Gaurav, I'll redirect this next question to you. Since you are someone who studied at NTU, then came back to India, Bhavesh wants to know, how are the opportunities for someone who, let's say, graduates from NTU and then wants to come back to India and continue working here?
Sure. Thanks, Abhar. With regard to the question, I would say it definitely is not a bad idea to come back to India if that's on your plan, because after learning in NTU, you get that branding as well as learning. So it's not just the face value which is being increased, but your intrinsic value is also increasing. And when you apply that in India, you are competing with the tier 1 candidates in your cohort. So I would say it's not a bad option at all. And in terms of how it would help, I would say it's not only the branding, but the experience which will you have there, that will give you some learning and insight into the industry as well. So when you apply that into your job or your job application, you will definitely stand out. So that's my thought on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I
Prashanti,
I would also like to add a bit
sure.
of point to Regine's last question on the GRE scores or
Right.
GMAT scores. Uh, to all the candidates, I would just say be genuine in your application. So, like, for me, I would say the interview which Prof. Charlie took before my admission into MFE, we talked a lot about like, I mean, we would say everything between the sky and earth. We talked about it, and there was a time when I was doing derivative calculus, some sort of problems, and showing it to him, and then we are talking about life and other stuff. So, if your application is genuine, I think
Yes.
you stand a good chance to get into NTU. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Prashanti, I will take the next one for you. You know, there is a lot of talk about global recession, poor job markets, etc. A lot of students are now skeptical about putting in that kind of investment and studying abroad. So, what would be your advice to people who think that the job market is very poor and they should sort of rethink their decision about studying abroad?
I think I would like to acknowledge that because that is the truth. The job market
Mhm.
is kind of challenging at this point in time. But I think what you take away from this is just going to value add. So of course, like once you want to once you finish your degree, you want to get a job. That should be a primary aim. But you also realize that this experience is going to make you stand out. So essentially, what you gain through the process and what you take back, it is definitely more than just finding your next job. You're
Yeah.
learning how to live in a new country, how to cope up with the challenges of a new country. And for most of you, or at least in my case, for me, it was a completely new course. I didn't come in with a technical
Yeah.
experience. So you are challenged in more ways than just finding your next job. So your takeaways from the course is just going to make your job search more kind of fruitful in a way,
Mhm.
because you are definitely going to learn a lot more through this process, and that essentially is going to make you stand out. And of course, like so many of the panelists mentioned, you have the brand name. NTU is a
Right.
very strong brand name, both within Singapore and globally as well. So that definitely is something that you're adding to your resume. It's a great value addition, I would say. So I think these two are the key aspects that you can also consider when you're trying to decide if you want to take that investment or not. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know we've shot over time. So, Regine, my last question will be to you from Krishnan, who says he has around 8 years of work experience in banking and compliance. What would be the best suited career path for him? Is he someone who should consider now doing a master's in finance, or would an MBA be the right sort of channel for him for further growth and development?
Okay, that's a very good question. We do have a lot of students who kind of like, fit into like, the MBA or the specialized masters program. I think at the end of the day, it really depends on what he or she wants, to get out of the master's program. So, for example, if your undergraduate is not a business major and you want to advance your career, you're leading a team because you have 8 years of work experience, and you want to rise up through the management. So maybe doing an MBA at this point would be a right career move for you in terms of having a broad-based MBA. You study a lot of different areas in business, and you are learning a lot of strategic skills, which is needed for a manager. You're managing a team and all that. So maybe an MBA will be needed at this point. So it really depends on what you want to learn. For example, a lot of our students they know that they want to deep dive into a certain area like analytics or financial engineering or marketing, but they lack the kind of formal training because maybe their undergraduate is in a totally different field, but
Correct.
they would like to advance their career in the vertical. So that's where they decided maybe a specialized master's program would be more useful to them, because that's where they're going to learn really deep into the certain area. So it's really hard to say unless we really have a chat to really
No
learn what
problem.
you want. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Regine. With that, Regine,
Mm.
I'm wrapping up the session now. In case
Sure.
if you want to drop your details in the chat window for students to
Yes.
connect with you at a later stage, to my to all the alums, thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful to have you with us, and thank you for sharing all of your insights. I'm sure we still have around close to 320 people in the audience. Thank you for staying around. I'm sure this session has been very helpful to you. Regine has been kind enough to drop her email ID. So in case if you have any questions, you can reach out to them. Thank you once again, Regine, Gaurav, Devesh, Prashanti, all of you, wishing you all the luck. And yes, happy weekend to everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.